Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, KiaSimone, and child, let's get into this love and marriage in half-ass Huntsville, where they got a bunch of half-ass storylines. It's a half-ass mess. Let's just get into it. Before we do, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. So the episode opens up with what is basically an ad for Mel and her property preservation services. She is at a house teaching a class. She has Kimmy come out. They talk about Kimmy getting back into the workforce, and Mel lets her know that she's ready, willing, and able to use all of her resources to help Kimmy get back to work when she's ready. So Kimmy starts catching up with Mel about the tea, and she asks, did she feel like she and Stormy cleared the air? Mel, in so many words, said no. She said it's one of those things where you got to kind of plant it, water it, give it sunlight. Kimmy asked her, well, did you expect that conversation from her mom? Mel said, no, I didn't even expect to see her mom. I didn't know her mother was coming. Kimmy said, well, she didn't know she was coming either, but she was kind of hoping that that would be one thing that they would be able to fix, and hopefully that's something that was accomplished by the tea, because fixing Tiffany and Kiki was not accomplished. Mel said, well, last time I saw them, we had a lunch at my house. They cleared the air and they got along really well. I mean, have you seen them since then? Kimmy said, yeah, I saw them at Martell's event and they were getting ready to tear the club up. Kimmy said, I asked what was going on, what happened, but I never got an answer. So I don't think you fixed the damn thing but lunch, because them heifers were still beefing in sparkly dresses. Kimmy said she got distracted by Martell's sin and shame of a speech, and so she never got to get to the bottom of it. But production was clearly asking her in the confessional why she didn't tell Mel about Sheree being at Martell's party. Kimmy said, I ain't doing that bullshit. She said Mel made it very clear that she does not want or need any updates about what's going on in Martell's life, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be the one delivering unwanted information. Kimmy says she is trying to keep her stress at a minimum, so she is very selective with her time, energy, and her presence, even in this friend group. I know that's right. Sheree being at that party ain't got nothing to do with the price on the property she preserving. Why would she need to be sharing that with her? Kimmy said now she can control her stress in this friend group, but at her house, that's where the main problem is. Kimmy said her dilemma is their co-parenting issue, because they have totally different approaches to the issue. And she needs more support from Maurice to get Maurice Jr. to do what he needs to do. She said Maurice will agree with his mouth, but not with his actions. So he'll say, yeah, he needs to do more, but he won't make him do more. Kimmy said at this point, she'd rather go back to work than to be at home dealing with the stress. And that's sad to say, number one, you uncomfortable in your own home. And number two, she's uncomfortable in her own home while she's trying to fight cancer. That's some absolute bullshit, that this lady is sick and going through what she's going through and got to fight with y'all about washing the damn dishes. It real life pisses me off. But we move on to somebody else who also real life pisses me off. We see Tiffany going to meet with Stormy, and this about to be some bullshit. So Tiffany says in the confessional that she's inviting Stormy to coffee so that she can explain herself about her not taking her side at Martell's party. I said, here we go with this Mel Jr. bullshit. Tiffany starts the conversation off letting Stormy know that she wants to rehash the whole issue with Kiki. And she's explaining to Stormy that she doesn't have time for Kiki's bullshit because she's pregnant. Well, if you don't have time for bullshit because you're pregnant, why are you running around starting bullshit while you're pregnant? Tiffany runs down the whole timeline of the tea, the lunch at Mel's house, and then the confrontation at the party. And she felt like they were good after the lunch at Mel's house, but then here comes Stormy with all her rehashing at the party. Stormy said, well, yeah, the thing is, I don't feel like y'all could really be good or resolve whatever issues y'all have unless y'all put all the issues on the table. Now, yes, this is true, but Stormy, you don't have to always be the one to set the table. Tiffany said, but it was all on the table after we left Mel's house. Stormy said, no, it wasn't, because you didn't know about that text. Tiffany said, no, I didn't know about that text. Stormy said, exactly, so it wasn't all on the table. So Stormy said in the confessional that she's all about just clearing it up. She don't care if you got to yell, curse, scream, whatever it takes, as long as you get it all out and get it all cleared up so that you can really move on. But she feels like Tiffany and Kiki didn't have the opportunity to do that. And she feels like if they had had that opportunity, they probably wouldn't have an issue right now. She said all the tea parties and etiquette is real cute, but unaddressed beef is just being saved for a later date. Now, once again, this is true. However, Stormy seems to have a propensity and preference to have these very tense yell, curse, scream conversations in improper settings. The issue is there's a time and place for everything, and you be picking the wrong time and place. I mean, read the room and see this ratchet, rowdy bullshit fit the ambiance before you start your shit. If it's some shit you wouldn't go into Target or Sally's and do in front of your products in the middle of the aisle, then you probably shouldn't do it in somebody else's establishment. Stormy told Tiffany she should really give Kiki a chance because she felt like she was actually really pleasant one-on-one. Tiffany looked at her like she was crazy. You was somewhere with that bitch by yourself? Stormy suggested Tiffany should get to know Kiki one-on-one. And while Tiffany thinks that's some absolute bullshit, she does use that as an opportunity to segue into her one-on-one with Sheree. So Stormy asked her, oh, well, how did that go? Tiffany said, oh, it went really good. I mean, it was really positive. Girl, what? You basically asked that lady if she could do backflips and full splits on the... And you think it went good? So Tiffany goes on to say that she's surprised that Sheree hasn't been around Mel because, I mean, she's been around her kids. She said, I mean, they need to be able to be in community with each other. Girl, what? The parents ain't even in community with each other. And you ain't in community with these people. You just nosy as hell, minding everybody's business but your own. What do you mean this half a girlfriend he has needs to be in community with them about their kids when they ain't in community with each other? Please go to hell. Stormy told her, hey, you doing a lot. I wouldn't even let that worry me. And Tiffany comes with that meddling mama chant about it's best for the kids. It's best for the kids. It's best for the kids. No, your ass is nosy, tactless, and boundless. You ain't concerned about what's best for your own damn kids. You wouldn't plan your life out to get ready for the baby you getting ready to have. So you ain't gonna tell me that you that concerned by nobody else's damn kids. Your ass is nosy. So Tiffany is trying to rope Stormy and her bullshit. So if you and Courtney got divorced, you mean to tell me you wouldn't want to know the woman that Chess is gonna be around? I know you would. Stormy said, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on if she's the one. And I would imagine that if she's not the one, then he wouldn't be bringing her around. Tiffany says, so is Sheree the one? Stormy said, I mean, I don't know, could be. So Tiffany says, well, then she and Mel need to be around each other. Girl, you need to be around a life and get one. So Stormy said, well, let me ask you this. When you talk to Mel, does Mel sound like she wants to meet Sheree? Tiffany said, well, you know, I don't think I've ever discussed Sheree with Mel. Exactly. Stormy said, well, then if you've never talked to Mel about Sheree, why are you talking to Sheree about Mel? Well, Tiffany ain't got $1 million to give her for that $1 million question. She gave her some bullshit instead. She said, well, because she's new to the group. And I just wondered, what is it like to date someone that has a reputation of being a cheater? Well, why don't you go lay down and ask your damn husband? I mean, he wakes up to one every day. So you can ask him. You can get a full interview from him. Stormy said, that's a lot to ask somebody you don't know. Tiffany said, I mean, not really. I know thee, and I want to know. Then take you and your husband, and y'all take your asses up the street to counseling, and y'all can tell each other what it's like to date someone who has the reputation of being a cheater, since you made sure to announce to us that both you and Lewis cheated in your previous relationships. Y'all can go talk to each other and get all the insight you need for every sociological study you're doing about dating a cheater. So then Tiffany tells Stormy all about the whole Mel going to Sheree's book signing, and that's where this picture came from. And apparently Mel at some point or another was a fan of Sheree, and Stormy is trying to not bust out laughing. Stormy said, did Sheree say that? You know you got to ask this lioness. Tiffany said, yep, Sheree said that. She said Sheree said she was a fan of hers. Well, she said she came to her book signing and she waited in line. I mean, isn't that what that means? Isn't that the same thing? See how you lie? Sheree never called that lady a damn fan of hers. What Sheree did was she used this opportunity to explain the history behind this picture that's been floating around, because people have been saying, oh, they've been friends and oh, they knew each other. And so Sheree is trying to clear her name that I didn't know that lady before I hopped up on her ex-man. But Tiffany, being the cheating lion that she is, of course, is going to twist the words and twist the story. Tiffany said in the confessional that, Sheree insinuated that Mel was a fan of hers, and I'm just repeating what I heard. Great. So going forward, we know not to listen to shit you say. And so what if Mel was a fan of Sheree? Sheree was on a popular TV show at the time that many people were a fan of. It doesn't say anything negative about Mel. If anything, what it does is confirms the idea that this relationship with Martell and Sheree is more calculated than they're letting on. So Tiffany changed the subject and she asked Stormy, well, how are you and Mel doing? And she said, well, me and Mel ain't doing. She ain't talked to Mel since the tea party. So Tiffany asked Stormy, did you feel heard? Stormy said, no, I felt like it was a very manipulated environment, but my mama had a good time. She said she got everything off her chest that she wanted to say. So Tiffany suggests that Stormy have yet another out of place conversation. She invites her to a 2-for-1. You can come to my baby shower where you can have a showdown with Mel. Girl, just what in the hell? So we move on and we see the dysfunctional dynamic duo Kiki and Tisha. They're headed to a college basketball game and they're just becoming the best of cousins, girl. And they're going to catch up about this whole confrontation that Kiki and Tiffany had at Martell's event. Tisha is asking Kiki how she enjoyed Martell's party. Kiki's pretending that she's upset that Tisha brought up the text messages because she was planning on slamming them down like dominoes the next time she saw Tiffany. So I guess Tisha done messed that up. But Tisha said the reason she shared the messages is so that you don't look as crazy as you normally look. Kiki started rambling in the car. I don't know what the hell Kiki was talking about, man. She's talking about how she do have empathy for Tiffany being pregnant, and so I just let her talk and look stupid, and Stormy had come over and told me all y'all went to dinner. Man, Kiki literally talks and says nothing at the same time. It's mind-numbing. I can't take it. I don't know what she said. I don't know. Tisha understands Kiki. She talks back to her in her language, rambling and rumors. She starts explaining to her that Stormy brought back to her all the questions and concerns that Tiffany seemed to have about her marriage, but she used long-form division to get around to saying that basically she don't know why Tiffany is running around questioning and concerning her marriage when there's rumors going around about her cheating in her marriage. Tisha said, I'm gonna tell you like this, if she keep talking on my marriage, I'm gonna spill all the tea and I'm gonna tell everything I've heard about hers. And these people had the cheap ass audacity to move from this conversation about this girl supposedly cheating on her husband to the damn ultrasound appointment. So then we watch them have a conversation in the doctor's office about how they're going to manage their time once the baby comes. And Tiffany still ain't got no plan, and she don't give a damn. She said she'll figure it out as she goes. She'll nurse the baby between phone calls and meetings. If it makes sense to you, go ahead. It's the commitment to chaos for me. So we move on to Maurice and Kimmy's house where they're in the kitchen and they're catching up about Martell's event. So they first catch up about Sheree, and Kimmy is saying how Sheree was much more quiet and reserved than she expected. And Maurice starts talking about how, yeah, isn't it funny how you watch people on TV and you have these expectations or perceptions in your mind that they're one way, but they can be totally different than you expect. Child, listen, I get that he's dropping the whole you might watch me on TV, but you don't know me bit, okay? I get it. The problem in this situation is that Martell didn't introduce this lady to a damn soul, which might explain some of her reservation in the room. Maurice feels like Martell was doting, and Kimmy feels like Martell was a gentleman, and I realize that y'all's standards are in hell. If you think the way that that man ignored that lady in that room was doting, and you find Martell and all of his antics to be a gentleman because he has stopped and helped you with your groceries one time when he has seen you, then child, that explains why this bullshit goes down between y'all like it does. So just then, the monster, or Maurice Jr., comes walking in from school, and he hugs Kimmy, and we see Maurice in the confessional saying to Kimmy that you and Monster have been getting along really well lately. She said, me and him always get along. He's a great kid. I just need him to listen more. Maurice said, well, that's just not his strong suit. Mother what? And parenting ain't yours. That's your job. You're his father. So if listening is not his strong suit, it's your job. You're the one man in the world who's assigned to this job to help him hone or strengthen the things that are not his strong suits. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, what are you doing? Teaching him to tie a tie and pee standing up? Like what? So Maurice gets up and puts his own dishes in the dishwasher, and Kimmy is just marveling about, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And he's just a lying about, you know I do this. Kimmy said, I know you don't. I know just this morning I came in here, the dishes on this counter. And Monster's looking at him like, you know you full of shit. What? Just word to the wise. Stop being a flat out liar in front of your kids. Not only does it demonstrate bad character, it compromises their ability to trust you. When they learn that you can lie with a straight face, they learn one of two things, either how to do it too or not to trust you. Kimmy is explaining all you had to do was take the dish 2 inches over off of the counter and into the sink. And he's making up a bunch of excuses about, you know, we leave early and it would probably make noise. And, you know, if I breathe too loud, you wake up. And, you know, I got my boy in boot camp now. So in the confessional, Maurice said that Monster hasn't been really living up to the standard that he set. So he enrolled him in boot camp and he's been doing better in school. Well, the question I have is, did you set the standard or did you demonstrate the standard? Because from what I've seen, it does not look like you demonstrate anything. You might say that this is what needs to be done, but there is no actual model to follow. There is no structure. There's no discipline. Kimmy said he is doing better, and that's good that he's doing better in school, but I do need that to kind of trickle over to the house to help at the house. Maurice said, well, maybe you need to put him in boot camp. Maybe you need to go to boot camp. Maybe you need to go to boot camp so that you can get the structure and discipline you need in order to teach the structure and discipline you need to teach. Maybe you need boot camp. So they're discussing the boot camp, and Kimmy is asking Monster, what does the boot camp entail? And he said, well, I get up at 5 a.m. and Kimmy said, so that's all there is to it, is getting up early every day? He said, yep, pretty much. Maurice said, no, that's not it. And if that's all you're getting from it, then you're not getting anything from it. You're not learning what you're supposed to learn. Even when Maurice asked him to repeat what his priorities or goals are supposed to be for this program, he said he don't know. He don't really remember them. All he knows is the main one is for him to go to Ohio State University as a football player on a full football scholarship. Just what in the living my daddy's dreams. Kimmy said that's beautiful. That's very nice. The children are our future. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. But I done heard about a GPA and a football scholarship, and I didn't hear nothing about a chore. Not one. Not cleaning a room, a bathroom, washing a sock, nothing. So I was just wondering, how can I get on that list that y'all got of important stuff to do? Monster said, well, it's a given that I know I have to do chores. That's understood before the list even exists. She said, well, that sounds so good, baby. That's so well spoken of you. I got one question. How come it don't happen like that? Monster explains that he's not just being openly defiant and not cleaning his room when she asks. He said he genuinely intends to do it, and he just forgets. He gets caught up doing other stuff. And the boy got teenage brain. I understand. And Kimmy does too. Kimmy said, Monster, I 100% believe that. But we have to try to stay focused. I need you to get focused and get done what I need you to get done. And that's where Dad comes in. Dad comes in and helps this growing, developing teenage brain focus. So Maurice sends him to go get his list so that they can see where chores are on the list. Now, the boy just told y'all that chores are a given that ain't on the list because they come before the list even exists. But go ahead. Well, of course, he comes back with a piece of paper that has 20 priorities on them and not one is helping around the house. Kimmy said, see. So now Maurice is playing dumb about it. I thought we put it on there. Kimmy said, no, you didn't put it on there. Of course you didn't put it on there. And I ain't shocked you didn't put it on there because it doesn't seem to be a priority for any damn body but me. You don't care and you don't care. Ain't nobody but me want a clean house and a clean ass. Maurice about pissed me off. Maurice said, well, looks like we might need a boot camp for chores. Looks like we need a boot camp for your bullshit. So Monster goes in his room and Kimmy asked Maurice, do you think boot camp is working? Maurice said, I think it has to become more routine. I want him to get to the point where he can do what's right even when he doesn't want to. So you want boot camp to teach him character? You want boot camp to teach him the integrity that his father is supposed to be teaching him? I just can't. Kimmy said it speaks volumes that y'all have 20 things on this list and not one has anything to do with chores or maintaining the house. And Maurice says, what do you mean by that, Kimmy? Kimmy said, what I mean is I don't think it's that important to you. And what I think is it's absolutely nuts that this lady is sick. Like she's actively sick during this. And she got to go back and forth and round and up and down with you about, please wash your dishes. Please help our child stay focused. Please help me around the house. Why? Why she got to go through that with you? So Maurice repeats what he has taught Monster to say, which is, well, I mean, it's a given that there are certain things you have to do around the house in order to live here. That's just the baseline. But, I mean, if it's important to you, we'll actually write them down. Kimmy said, that's my damn point. What you mean, if it's important to me? So in the confessional, Kimmy says to Maurice, to say that something is a given to me feels like taking it for granted. And he said, so I guess it kind of feels like I just dismissed your standards. She said, well, it feels like you focus more on yours and pretty much dismiss mine. And he said, it's not that I'm dismissing yours, it's just that I'm focused on mine. So why are y'all playing ping pong, saying the same damn thing back and forth to each other in a bunch of different ways? This is some bullshit. So we move on and we see Martell and Marsau together. They're at Black and they're going to be meeting with Tiffany. Well, before Tiffany gets there, they're going back and forth. They're supposed to be studying and working out together. But Martell said the odds are against him. He said it doesn't look like he's going to pass the test and it don't look like Marsau going to lose no damn weight. So he's going to go get him a new study buddy. You is a study hall hoe. So Martell is telling Marsau that the premise of this meeting is that Tiffany is coming to talk to him about some parade that Martell is going to be in. And Marsau got the same damn question I got. What that got to do with Tiffany? Martell said nothing. It don't have much of nothing to do with Tiffany. She just has questions about it. So basically, this is some bullshit y'all put together to put this shit together in our face. Man, move. So before they can even get started on the bullshit business, Martell lets us know in the confessional that it's bullshit business. He said that she wanted to be involved with the parade and he was considering that. But after what Sheree shared, he needs to get to the bottom of that first because he's really perturbed by that. Like, y'all go to hell. Y'all should have just told us that we called her down here to check her about that bullshit she said, because that's what this is. So Martell starts the conversation by asking them how they enjoyed the magazine party. And they're saying they had a great time. And Tiffany said, well, what was your highlight? Martell said, well, the funny thing is my highlight didn't happen at the party. It happened after the party. Sheree shared with me the conversation that y'all had at the event. And she said, are you surprised? Why are you surprised that I'm nosy? He said, I'm extremely surprised because why would you do me like that? He said, you pretty much grilled her from what I understand. She said, do you know how I got grilled coming into this group? Fool. That was from the public. That doesn't mean, ooh, when there's a new girl, I get to be the mean girl. That's not what that means. Marsau, I guess, is there to be judge and jury, and he's asking for the details because he don't know what happened, so please fill me in. She's telling him all the inappropriate questions she asked. So when she got around to the, I asked her, what is it like dating someone who's known as a cheater question, Martell was immediately triggered again. Martell said, but I'm not a cheater. Martell said, oh, are you a cheater? She said, I have cheated before. He said, are you a cheater? She said, no, I'm not a cheater. He said, then I'm not a cheater. I cheated and you did what? Cheated. Well, y'all both full of shit. Marsau is just shocked. You said that? Martell is saying, yeah, as educated as she is, she said it just like that. Tiffany said she's just annoyed that Martell decided to bring up this conversation that she had with Sheree at a meeting because Sheree is a grown woman. And if Sheree was irritated or upset or bothered by anything that she said to her, Sheree could have come to her on her own. No, fool. Sheree don't know you. That's the entire point. That's why the conversation is inappropriate in the first place, because she don't know you. So why would she come to you, a person she don't know, to say, hey, that whole conversation that you had with me was inappropriate. You knew when you were having the conversation that it was inappropriate. So she went to the person who does know you and tells them, hey, get your damn friend. She said she's upset that Martell chose right now in front of Marsau to have this conversation. That's just not how she does business. Now, what I will give her is I don't like baiting somebody into a conversation. Now, don't tell me it's a business meeting and then bait me into a beef confrontation, because this ain't gonna go like you think it's gonna go. Marsau is trying to understand what was the point of you having this conversation with this woman. And he's asking her, what were you planning to do with this information? Like, are you trying to date a cheater? What are you trying to do? She said no. She just was wondering for herself and just wondered if she and Mel had ever met, and she thought that they could be in community with each other. You and this in community gets on my last damn nerves. Martell said Melody and I aren't in community with each other. So we got a whole lot of stuff to get together before we worry about being in community with anybody that I'm dating. And then Tiffany has the nerve to be offended that Marsau is interjecting himself into something that's not his business. Do you understand that this entire conversation is rooted in you interjecting yourself in something that's not your business? So then she jumps off the deep end. She's just in the deep end of this man's business about, y'all have been dating for 8 months. Y'all have had sex. So, what? Martell said, or talking for 8 months. Tiffany said, I don't just talk to people for 8 months. I don't know what that's like. Girl, what? Well, tell the truth and shame your devil. Tiffany tries to twist all of this into her being an advocate for blended families and how, she went through struggles with her baby daddy. And now that they're in a much better place, she wishes she had gotten it together far sooner and she just wants to help. Marsau says, so now that you think you got it right, you think you're an expert. I didn't say that, girl. In the confessional, Marsau said Tiffany's pregnancy saved her this time because any woman in Sheree's position would have whooped her. So Martell got down to the real nitty gritty. He said, let me ask you, did you really say to that woman, do you think that your pussy is so good and you putting it down so good that you gonna be able to keep him and Mel? Did you say that? This said, no. I don't remember saying anything like that. Use a damn lie and the truth ain't in you. Marsau said, well, what else did she say? Because this shit is deep. Martell said, yeah, she told her about I was chasing Mel around Kimmy's event. It's almost like she's trying to break us up before we could really even get off the ground. Marsau said, well, you might need to go get tested for being a Karen. She said, why? Because I'm half white? He said, absolutely not, because you full of shit. They said, no, it's because of your behavior. There's plenty of white people that ain't Karens. Don't even go there with that bullshit. Martell said, at the end of the day, you don't know Sheree for you to be going up to her saying that kind of stuff. So Tiffany tries to turn this around and she starts talking about all the positive things that she realized about Sheree from this interaction, about how strong she is and how she respects his position. Marsau said, what you also learned about her is she ain't quick to slap a motherfucker. Marsau said, I can't be talking to nobody's wife like this. And the episode comes to an end with Martell saying, yeah, you right. I'm going to give Big Lou a call. She said, what you going to call Lou to fix his wife? He said, no, I'm going to just tell him what went down. It was very inappropriate. And I'm going to share what went down with him. Yeah, he about to call your daddy. And it looks like next week it's going to be a clash between the guys. Child, we'll be here. But that's it. That's all. And I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here, listening to me, and let me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.